Record. Hello, welcome to the December 13th version of the SIG CLI biweekly meeting. I'm Sean Sullivan. I'll be your host today. We have a couple items on the agenda, but first let's go through a couple of quick announcements. Today is actually when the Kubernetes version 129 should be should be released. So that was pushed back from last Tuesday or Wednesday. So today is when we're scheduled to release version 129 finally. And also wanted to mention already, we just had KubeCon, and so now let's get ready for the next KubeCon. The next KubeCon is KubeCon Europe in Paris, April 19th through the 22nd. So if you need to make any plans for that, please do. And I'll ask quickly, is there anybody else who has any other announcements? Okay, why don't we move on to where we get to meet some of our new members. Is there? I already see. Do I see a hand raised? Yes, Francis. Can I see your hands raised. Francis, do you have an announcement to make, or would you like to introduce yourself as one of the newer members? I'm not hearing anything. Okay, it looks like Francis is having some problems. When that's resolved, Francis. Oh, so the question is, KubeCon EU Paris is in March.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, sorry, still some problem. So yeah, first, hi, happy to be there. I'm not sure, but I think that KubeCon Europe 2024 is in March. It's the same exact date, 1922, but yeah.
You're correct. I copied it wrong. It's the 19th to the 22nd of March. My apologies. Let me modify that. But in the meantime, let's. And Abdullah, do you have something to say? I think your microphone is muted. Okay.
Hi, sorry about that. Good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Abdullah. I'm a senior cloud architect at Honda Europe. I've been dabbling with Kubernetes for a while now, and I'm keen to start making contributions if possible. So yeah, that's my intention for joining. I would appreciate any guidance on this subject. But yeah, nice to meet you.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Is there anybody else who's new to the SIG CLI or hasn't been here for a while, like to introduce themselves? I see another hand, Cassandra.
Hey folks, I'm Cassandra. This is my inaugural voyage into contributing to Kubernetes. So to start with, I'm just trying to visit a meeting for every working group I can find and see about how everybody operates and looking to find my place.
Welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you.
So we'll have a couple of items that we could talk about today, and hopefully you'll get a little flavor for the SIG CLI. I also see that Gang has his hand up.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, this is Gang Chen. I'm from Google Cloud, cloud engineer. Also been contributing with Kubernetes on occasionally before, but now I'm looking forward to stay a little more involved with the CLI SIG and actively contributing. Nice to meet you, everyone. Thanks, Sean.
And Nant, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, I'm from Microsoft. Yeah, trying to see which SIG I should probably like Cassandra, new to Kubernetes space, and trying to see which which SIG is kind of place for me. But yeah, joining this one to see how it looks like and how it feels like to be a member of the SIG. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Welcome. Thanks for joining. We've got a pretty good contingent of our newbies. Is there anyone else who'd like to introduce himself? If not, we can move on to the next section. Let's do some sub-project and KEP updates. Arda, do you want to talk about kubectl debug?
Yes, I was writing actually this CAP for a while because we are occasionally getting several issues and pull requests to enhance kube control debug, but people mostly try to do that by adding new flags, and we are pushing against to prevent adding more flags. And now we are in a position that I think we need to make it customizable in an easy way to at least mitigate this demand. And I am suggesting in this CAP basically providing a way users defining a JSON file, and we are going to use a strategic merge patch to patch this JSON file to customize the predefined kube control debug profiles. Feel free to drop your comments, and yeah, I'm just added this here to for awareness.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is also with Arda. And would you like to continue with that?
Yes, we had a discussion around in this PR around the -- all flag actually. This PR basically adds field selectors and label selectors into the kube control patch command, which seems to be reasonable because users may want to patch a subset of resources belonging to the fields of some labels. But I have some concerns about the -- all flag because we all know that we have some problems for this flag, and the lack of definition causes some misconceptions and misuses. I'd like to ask you about your opinion. Should we add this flag into the kube control patch, or are we still on the same page, or am I missing something?
That would, just my opinion, I'll obviously defer to Maciej. That feels a little odd to put the same patch to everything, all the objects in a namespace. What do you think, Maciej?
Yeah, definitely label and field selectors. Those don't seem problematic, but the all is a problem because just looking at the past, every single time we were struggling with all, it was because different people saw all differently. So I would probably try to avoid it as far as possible. I'm curious if the linked issue there, I don't have the, hold on, let me try to pull it up quickly. That's the linked issue which this fixes. Does it also mentions that someone is interested in having that all flag, or they were only interested in about the selector? Yeah, so it seems like the ask was specifically about the selectors. I would just say selectors are fine. All better not.
I can imagine that we are getting issues about I patch with the dash all and some of the resources are missed.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the risk is greater than the reward that you're gonna get out of supporting this functionality. So definitely, I would say no.
I will point out that or the confusion around all is not with the flag of all; it's with the argument of all on kubectl Git, where all is actually a group. But we do have an all namespaces flag on some commands, so I don't know if it would be more similar to that, but I just wanted to point out there is a distinction between, it's not everywhere we use all that's really confusing, although it may be confusing for different reasons, but Git all, the non-flag all, the argument all is what's confusing, I think, the most.
Isn't all namespaces only used on very limited set of commands? Namely, just the get allows you to do all namespaces. I mean, I'm looking at this from the perspective of the delete all, where people just can easily destroy their entire cluster. My fear with regards to supporting all for patch is of a similar nature, because with a similar request, you can either break the entire cluster or even get to the point where to a certain degree you will basically delete all because you can request the patch to clear the entire spec, which basically means it will remove everything. Well, if you do a patch which, I don't know, with a star, I'm pretty sure that it's possible to clear the entire resource of any kind with such a command. So that's where the all is a little bit of no-go for me from this point of view.
Fully agree. For example, user can easily add some kind of a annotation, network-related annotation, and cause the cluster healthiness problem.
So I'm imagining one of the use cases they want to use this all on is for updating the status, because I mean, you're going to have so many within a namespace, you're going to have many different types of objects, and so you wouldn't be able to patch all the specs of a whole bunch of different objects, but maybe they wanted to update the status on many different types of objects by patching. I like what you're all saying. It still feels a little odd.
So here's a way of thinking. I got reminded it by Tim Hawkins during one of the keynotes in Chicago. I think he repeated that statement a couple of times in the past as well. For every feature that we are considering, yes is forever, no is temporary. Which basically means if we say yes to any particular thing, we'll support it until the last day kubectl will be used. If we say no to all today, but we will accept the rest, it will work just fine for a lot of the use cases. And then if someone brings this topic again in couple months or in a year or two, there's nothing stopping us from reconsidering the all for the patch. But as it stands today, the only reason that we are supporting the all is, I'm guessing, because it's part of the the selector flags. It's combined there. If we could extract that part, I don't see a problem. Yes, it will require a little bit more work code-wise, but I think it'll be better for us in the long run if we don't support all until we have more proof that that one is requested, because it's clearly, it wasn't something that was requested specifically for this particular thing. The request, the issue 909 explicitly asks for support for the selector. So let's start simple. And if we will face a situation where if this is required, we can always revisit.
Yeah, that sounds very reasonable.
That will be
Yes, thanks.
that will be my answer for today.
Okay, I've updated the notes to say that we're against the all flag.
Yeah, I also wonder if you can get to the same situation with the field selector. I don't remember like what fields you can select on, but if you select, for example, on a namespace or some common field, then you can practically select all the objects in the namespace as well.
That is a good point, because in the description thread in this PR, I saw that by using the field selectors, you can select everything, some kind of a lot of things. Maybe even we should consider the field selector not supporting it.
Great. Well, thanks for bringing this one up, Arda. And
Thanks.
I think that we're at the end of our what's on the agenda. So I think we're going to actually have quite a bit of time back today. Francis has a hand up.
Yeah, so yeah, we can of course discuss regarding this, but it's just that I have something to discuss, but I hadn't
Sure.
the right access to the agenda. So yeah, it's
Okay.
just to inform.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so maybe I will present myself a bit more. So hi, I'm Francis. I'm working mainly on developing Inspector Gadget, which is a set of eBPF tools to debug and observe and monitor Kubernetes cluster, but also containers. So some month ago, we added a new feature in Inspector Gadget, and mainly to add this new feature, we added the fact to run Inspector Gadget within kubectl debug. And so a coworker of mine added a flag, which is sort of a workaround to have Inspector Gadget working with kubectl debug. And so what we would need for Inspector Gadget to work with kubectl debug is to add the sysadmin profile. So it is part of the Kubernetes enhancement proposal 1441. And the thing is that this pull request is open since July, and I also had to open another pull request to update the corresponding Kubernetes enhancement proposal, because with this particular pull request, we just realized that we needed to modify something regarding the definition of it. So we just put in the chat the two pull requests, so everyone can maybe take a look at them. And yeah, it's mainly to just put this under people radar, and yeah, and to get some feedback, of course, and if I can explain some stuff that maybe are yeah, maybe obscure, of course I will do.
Okay, I added, attempted to add some of the notes. I put a couple of the your pull requests into the notes. Why don't we have a quick look at this one? Let's have a quick look at the enhancements. Okay. So this is a KEP to update the sysadmin profile. This has to do with kubectl debug.
Yeah, so note that this pull request came after the first pull request because I wasn't aware about how you do the thing in Kubernetes. And so I first opened the pull request to change the code. And then while changing the code, we just realized with the people reviewing it that we just realized that we needed to modify the sysadmin profile to to change its definition. And so in this case, the cap would need to be updated.
Okay, we can put the KEP on our agenda, and as something to look at. Right now we're in a code freeze until probably the next week or so. I think the next KEP deadline is going to be early next year. I'm guessing the dates haven't come out, but I was guessing somewhere around February 1st. Is there anybody here who has context on the kubectl debug that would like to give some immediate feedback to Francis on this initiative?
I can have a look at this one, but we also need to opinions from Verb, which is the author of kubectl debug. Yeah, I can have a look at.
Okay. Okay, Francis, thanks for joining us and bringing this to our attention. And you can communicate with Arda on next steps for our KEP. As you may or may not know, this is our typical process for adding features. We call them enhancements. It's to design and have a discussion and consensus on the design before we move forward with features.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I will contact you, Arda. I'm not sure if I pronounce your first name the good way. Sorry if I just
That's
butchered it.
correct.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I will send you a message over Slack so we can sync with each other. Yeah, there is no emergency on that being merged. I'm fine. It can take. If there is a code freeze, I will not say, "Hey, the code needs to be unfrozen for my pull request to be merged." No, this does not work like this. So yeah, totally fine. It can take a bit of time. It's just that it is open since a bit of time, and I was a bit afraid that it was just a bit forgotten. So hence the fact that I just shed some light on this today. And yeah, regarding the cap, now I know how it works, but at the time I wasn't aware about it. So yeah, no worries. Now it's clear. So yeah, we can think about the cap, then we merge the cap, and then I will go back to the actual code to update it without any problem.
Sure. I have just one quick question. You mentioned something called Inspector Gadget. Do you have a quick blurb or overview of what that particular tool is?
So basically, Inspector Gadget, it is a set of eBPF written tools to monitor and debug containers, both containers running on a host and containers running in Kubernetes cluster. So with eBPF, you can instrument the kernel, and for example, you can write some hooks which will be executed, for example, when a syscall is executed by the kernel. For example, you can easily trace the exec syscall or the open syscall. We have also a gadget to trace capabilities, to trace all the syscall, to trace the input-output operation. Yeah, we have several of them. So yeah, it's mainly to this particular pull request that I open in Kubernetes and particularly in kubectl debug. It's mainly needed for inspector gadget to be used within kubectl debug, but we have other way to use inspector gadget. Mainly, we have two flowers. So one is oriented for Kubernetes, and the other one is oriented for containers. And so it is when you want to use the container flavor, the container-oriented flavor in kubectl debug, that we need a particular workaround, and that kubectl debug with the sysadmin profile would be really helpful. And yeah, I just saw someone shared it in the chat, and yeah, this is inspector gadget. Yes, sorry, I should have shared the link before.
Okay. So, so I think that you may not have write permissions to the agenda if you haven't joined the SIG CLI Google group, and I put that in the chat, so that will actually add you to give you an invite to this particular meeting and other SIG CLI meetings, and it should give you permissions to write to this document when you join that group. And when you do have permissions, then you can clean up my messy notes here on your on what you're describing here. Does that make sense, Francis?
Yeah, sure. It's just that I just realized that because I talked to some coworker and they told to me, yeah, you should take a look at the SIG CLI. They should have a meeting, and I was like, oh yeah, community meeting. Of course, we are in open source, so it should exist a community meeting. I didn't think about it out of the blue, and yeah, I just realized that yesterday that this meeting was occurring today. So yesterday I asked for access, and I think it wasn't processed or something like this. So yeah, it's just that I'm a bit short regarding the timing, but yeah, otherwise, once I got the right access to the document, I will clean everything for sure.
Okay, great. So I think that now might be we might actually be at the end of our items for the agenda. Unless there is someone else who would like to bring something else up that wasn't on the agenda. Okay. If not, I'll give you all a half an hour back, and I appreciate you all taking your time to join us. And it was especially good to see a new cohort of people. And we look forward to seeing you again within 2 weeks. So thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you a lot. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.